Good morning, ladies. Welcome back to Honey We're Home.
Some men listen.
Good morning, ladies, and some of their husbands.
And like 2 men.
And like a few men. Hi.
And I would like to keep it that way.
I agree. Sometimes recently, I have gone on to Instagram to like type something that I used to, like a big thing on my story, like an oversharing situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you love a paragraph.
Love a paragraph. I'll delete the whole thing and be like, better for the podcast. Because in my mind, it's not just that it's like saving content for the podcast. I've gotten a safety net with the podcast because I know it's only women for the most part. And my Instagram is also like 94% women or something.
Yes.
But it's like that extra 4% that like, I'm like,
scares me.
Like
Who
I
are
like
ya?
know my friends' husbands will see it. And I'm like, do they really want to hear about my period? Like,
yeah, no.
like they're gonna like be like, wow, Caroline's like pretty weird, and I'm like, so I'll just say it on the podcast.
Or it's like random guy friend, like not even guy
It's the
friends.
people I
It's
know.
like random guys from college who you like followed each other because you
Yeah.
were in college together.
Yeah,
But
no
now-
longer a safe space.
Yeah, but
I had a
your
dream
point,
that I removed everybody that I knew from my following.
Oh, I removed 1,000 people the other day.
You did?
Well, because with the Instagram update, it like for some reason the number of like who you're following is in your face now. I was following like pretty much 4,000 people years ago. This is such a millennial thing. Like when Instagram was new, I went on a following binge. I was
for all
following
the influencers?
every little brand, every hotel, every random.
Yeah.
No, every person that said hello to me in the street. I was following random people on the street.
Oh, you were. I
was
get
a
that.
follow whore. And I said to myself, why am I following
That
all these
actually
people?
was a huge thing. I'm sure people still do it. I think that might be a multi-generational thing. It happened to millennials. Like we saw it happen in real time. The development of Instagram, obviously, when we were in high school. And then post-grad, it was like you met somebody, you got their phone number and their Instagram. And
Yes.
if you didn't get their phone number, you got their
everybody's.
Instagram. Because we were too old to like get someone's Snapchat. Like that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was
wasn't even,
always sign of something sketch going
Snapchat
on.
wasn't even like, was Snapchat there when I was in college?
Yeah, Snapchat was there before Instagram.
Really?
Or same time. Like it was, I know it was same time.
This just reminded me, do you remember, we've talked about this before. Remind me if we have. Do you remember Yik Yak?
Oh,
For a brief period of time.
wow.
That app was the most toxic app in the entire world.
Oh my
God.
God.
It almost ruined all of our lives.
That just unlocked a crazy memory for me. I went to a very small magnet high school. And there was the big public school that I was zoned for. And Yik Yak went crazy there.
Yik Yak was when I was in college. This is
So
showing
it's
our
when I
age
was
now.
okay. So I was a senior.
Okay, I was like,
So nobody at my school could like really participate in Yik Yak because it was so small that you could totally trace it back to who said it. Like
that was how it was at JMU too. It didn't matter how big.
Yeah.
People were so specific too. They were like, this girl in this sorority
Yeah.
slept with this guy. It ruined our lives.
It ruined lives.
My friends and I had to get on like a monitoring panel because I think it was Brooke that was under fire. She was always under fire for something. Shout out to Brooke. People were always like trying to ruin Brooke's life. And we all had to like skip class and like monitor Yik Yak to report, or you could like report
Yes, you
to
can
get it taken
report.
down.
well,
And we
that's
all-
what would happen at my school if
Yeah.
because it was so small. If somebody posted something, like it would just be a war back and forth. So instead, we all followed the Yik Yak for the big public school because we all came from different areas of the town where like we all kind of were zoned for that school. So we all knew the people that went to that 4,000
in
person
your
high school.
area, right?
Yeah, it's like where we were zoned. We just like sort of applied to go to the academic magnet school.
So you didn't really participate. You just watched the drama.
Yeah,
at the
but we
school.
knew the people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like these are all the kids we went to elementary and middle school with, dance class, sports with, the whole nine. We would still go to the football games. We knew all the people. So we would just like line up and be spectators and watch the Yik Yaks flow for this like bigger school that sort of felt like, I guess there were no repercussions because you could never
That's so funny.
trace it down.
I was the subject of Yip. I wish I could watch from the sidelines.
cry.
I was it was. So for those of you listening who somehow skirted past the Yik Yak phase, or maybe you're younger and didn't experience it, lucky you. It was only for like 3 months, right? Like
was- I really
thank
couldn't
God.
recall, but
It was this app.
It's kind of like, what is that app that tells Be Real? It was kind of like that, where it's not the same app, but the way that somebody just created it, it blew up overnight.
Yeah.
It had this fad moment, and then it became so crazy that it got shut down.
So toxic. Bullying.
Very quickly.
So it was this app where you could submit in your area. It would only work for like a whatever mile radius. So it was always like your area. It was anonymous, like submissions of like a tweet, basically a Twitter like feed where you could say like things about each other.
It was like Gossip Girl, except the submission didn't go through Dan Humphrey. Like, it didn't go through Gossip Girl. It just went out.
So you
All
could say
tips went out.
Caroline Crawford Patterson is a
Terrible
mega whore.
person, has a big zit on her pimple.
But you could make up things about people too, which was messed up. Like, I could have been like, Caroline slept with John, blah, blah, blah. And that's what was happening. Like, but also people were like saying real stuff about it.
I think it was more than it still existed when I got to college. People were using it. I was off it. I was like, I can't do it. I don't know if I ever submitted anything in general, because that is foul.
So chaotic.
That's a foul thing.
I do remember somebody submitted, I was doing, for some reason I was handing out condoms on the quad.
Yeah. Oh, in college, yeah. At first it was like high school. Whoa.
It was like for a health class assignment or something for extra credit. And me and my sorority were like out handing out condoms to people on the quad. And
it's probably Sex Awareness Month or whatever.
I was wearing a neon green V-neck shirt from Victoria's Secret. I'll never forget. And somebody submitted to the blonde in the green t-shirt handing out condoms on the quad, you're like a smoke show or something. And I was like, yick yak. I was like, let's keep this app. And then,
that was a nice comment though.
But other than that, and then I was called like a crazy slut.
On the app?
Oh my God. Me and all my friends got like attacked. We were like, who wants our blood this bad? Somebody was coming for our necks. It was more Brooke. So like, shout out. I hope she listens to this, because it was so fun.
We had a principal that was known to bribe. Like, shout out to her. Honestly, like, she was probably great as an adult for parents. She would pull the student body in, like, bribe them to tell her who was throwing the parties on the weekend, who would do these things. And these people, like, were tattletales. So, like, if you did anything,
pick me.
You might get suspended. Like, because it was just a small school, she was on it.
Oh, God.
It was still a public school. Small, but she just had the privilege to be in everybody's face.
I hate when the teachers get too involved like that.
It's crazy.
Get a life.
Wait, I have to say something really quick, because it should still be happening. You said the Victoria's Secret thing, which reminded me. I used to have this lime green J. Crew V-neck that I wore all the time. I just think it's a good color on us. Anyways, J. Crew is having a sale, but then on top of that, it's 70% off all already marked down stuff. So if you guys need anything right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my sister
and J. Crew's, they've gotten pricey over the years.
Yeah, my sister sent me a pair of $200 shoes this morning, like really cute red patent pointy toe Mary Janes. And they come in black too. $40.
Oh, and we're recording this episode on a Monday, and we're releasing it literally in the next 24 hours.
So that's why I'm saying it, because it should be going on. J. Crew's had really, really good stuff lately. That's the only reason I'm saying it, because it's cold. They have good gloves. They have good scarves, hats.
I have a J. Crew scarf.
Like, I like their sweaters. I just got a sweater from their outlet for like $30 2 weekends ago. So anyways.
I need to stop shopping.
Yeah, I do too. But if you guys need anything, that's...
Yeah, good to know. We love our sales. We should do a sales segment where we point out the sales.
Honestly?
Before we do get into our other social media discussion, I do have a quick, it's all about social media.
Oh,
I have a
ChatGPT.
quick story. ChatGPT listens to this show because...
I'm super interested to hear this story.
Long story short, Mike and I did our first official, finally, we're growing up, family meeting last night.
Fun.
For the week. And I'm going to share this on the Honey We're Home Instagram. So you got to go there. You got to follow or else you'll miss it. I'm going to share this when this episode comes out tomorrow. But basically right before the family meeting, I'm like, oh, shoot, what are we going to talk about? I was like, I need an agenda. And I can't think for myself these days because I do lean on the internet for everything. So in my ChatGPT app real quick, I went in and I was like, hey, I'm having... I don't know. Hey, I'm having a meeting with my husband. Can you make an agenda for us?
Yeah.
That's all I said.
Right.
Mind you, I'm really not a ChatGPT user. I haven't given it this info.
Yeah.
It typed out the most specific agenda for Mike and I's life. It under the sections, it was giving examples. Like it would be like, talk about future goal planning as a family. And then it was like, so Nicole, your IVF updates, your this and that. It was giving specific things. And then it goes, family weekly things. Nicole, like what you and Mike, your husband, need to order for Louie. And I was like, Mike and I were like, this is terrifying. I haven't given it that info. It's not like it's like.
This is where you have to listen to the conspiracy. They're not conspiracy theorists because they're right, but like the people that are extremists about having Alexa in their house and stuff.
Yes,
that's where you have to start paying that mind because whatever.
It was so scary. Mike got up from the table.
My Alexa, but
no, it's
so freaky. That's
terrifying.
Too far.
It was saying detailed stuff that I was like, I don't even think I've really posted about that on social. Like I've talked about that on Honey We're Home. So is it like verbally listening? I don't know. Is it scrubbing the episodes? It was crazy. So chat, thanks for being a listener. We can use every download we can get.
Yeah, thank you so much,
also,
chat. Chat.
Have some boundaries.
Clone yourself. I heard you could do that.
Yeah.
So
increase the downloads.
If you could just clone yourself like 20,000 times, huge favor. Thank you so much. It's the least you could do for invading our privacy.
Yeah. But I will share the template for the deleting all my personal info in it, but I'll share the template for the family meeting because
that's probably good.
It really was good. And it I didn't realize how Mike and I need to formally connect like that to feel more connected.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, because I think that it gets the operational and logistical stuff out of the way. Mm-hmm. That stuff is just needed to exist, coexist, run a house, whatever. But it's also attached to a lot of anxiety naturally because that's the stuff we go through our day thinking about. Did we do this yet? Did I get this done yet? Did I order this? Did I pay this bill? Does Louis have enough food? Those things are the things that naturally take up your brain space and give you anxiety. So you're not necessarily coming home excited to cuddle up with your partner because your brain's going a million miles a minute trying to put other pieces of the puzzle together. Right.
And doing it once during a designated time I think will help because throughout the day when Mike and I are both working from home and we see each other, one of us will be like, oh, don't let me forget, we've got to order this coffee cart or whatever. But now that we've already discussed it, our time that we are together in the same vicinity won't be spent reminding each other randomly about little things that are on our minds.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's nice.
Family meeting. It only took me 32 years, but we're doing it.
A lot of people, I feel the idea of it sort of doesn't take effect until you have kids. So it's
we're
nice.
starting now.
Yeah.
Pre-baby.
One thing that I know we have so much to chat about, but I realized that this weekend, I've been saying a lot about how I've been seeing that 2025 is a good year for Virgos. And it's a year that
I think this is your year.
I really am hoping it's my year.
I have a good feeling.
Thank you.
You
could feel how deeply
but I don't
want to
jinx anything.
No, I really don't want to jinx it. I could cry.
Yeah, you needed that.
I need that. I could cry.
Me saying that just triggered tears from Caroline.
Thank you. I've been seeing a lot of stuff that's you'll learn to let things go that don't serve you. And I always apply that. I just want to put this out there because I might just be stupid and it took me this long to realize this. I always apply that to people. And I'm like, dang, that makes me sad. What is it? Who's in my life that is?
Are you just deleting people from your life?
I mean, that's not something that I enjoy doing. It's not something that I'm known to do. It's something that I'm actually known to have a very hard time doing. I have severe attachment issues, as we've all deduced on this show. Mm-hmm. So obviously it makes me sad. And I've thought a lot about that more than anything else. I'm like, what does that even mean? And then I realized it's not people, it's things. I attach myself to my things because they associate, for me, it's associated to who I used to be or things that build my identity. I have a shirt from 2018 because I have a good memory in that shirt and it attaches me to who I used to be. Or I'm I attach myself to Caroline Jones, who I used to be, or all of these things. And so when I realized that, I went and I cleared my house out this weekend. And it was a new mindset for me because I don't like letting things go.
Yeah.
But I switched it. And I think it's things. You let go of what doesn't serve you anymore. It's your things. Like, you've got to let go of what attaches you to who you were in the past. Like, you aren't tied to that person.
Interesting that you're like, oh, I don't want to let go of things that define who I used to be.
Because I think they make up who I am.
Sometimes I am like, oh, like maybe I'm like a little ashamed of who I used to be. And I'm like, get rid of that.
Agree. I agree on those things.
I'm making it sound like I like murdered somebody.
No, I agree on those things. But there are other things where like, good or bad, it makes up who I am. But then I'm just too attached to my entire story to even like be the person that I need to be now. And this might be just like a little too niche, but I think that it cleared up a lot of brain space for me.
I fully
to just
agree.
move on from certain. It's a weird thing for me. I don't know if it'll work for everybody, but removing my things removed brain space or cleared brain space so that I can focus on who I want to be, or hopefully this being my year.
Yeah. That's so like I need to practice what I preach, but my mom was always the queen of that principle. Like, my mom was Marie Kondo pretty much, like just got rid of everything. And she was always like, a clear house makes a clear mind. Like, she read books about feng shui. Like, we were not allowed to have things under our beds. Like, she was like,
I don't believe in stuff under your bed.
Well, in the city,
it's hard. I say that having stuff under my bed actively.
Yeah.
But I can sense I've told this before. Like, John has pushed stuff under the bed before.
Yeah,
when I'm not in the room, and I can sense it. I just have to put one foot in the house. What did you put under the bed?
Brain. My mom was like, you'll have nightmares and it'll like ruin your brain. But yeah, I mean that's like, I feel like any therapist I've had a consultation with and haven't signed. I'm acting like it's
at this point, it probably is kind of like that.
We're going to have a contract. But any therapist, the first question they ask is like, how's your environment? And I'm always like, well, it's a cluttery fucking mess. And they're like, well, there's your anxiety.
My environment is tied to all of the parts of me that I don't like.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But
I like my stuff. And
when
I have a problem with
last night, your place was looking very organized. It
my
made
closet
me feel jealous.
Yeah. It's still a mess because, it has to get worse before it gets better.
But you also have to like, this is where we all have to channel our inner Jenna Hunt, my sister, because she's like, okay with being a cluttery mess. And you do have to cut yourself some slack in all that and be like, okay, I got rid of stuff. I organized. This is the best I can do. I live in a tiny apartment.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to. Yeah.
It's so easy with the comparing. Like, that's what I found I actually compare myself to online a lot, is like not even to how somebody looks anymore, even their like fashion and clothes. I look at their like
their
space and I'm like, oh, how do they not have 2 dressers in the bedroom? They only have 1.
Right.
Where are like I'm comparing to that.
I agree. I've had that problem, and I think that is where I ran into problems with when I would try to clean, because I was just looking at it the wrong way. And now that I'm looking at it like, I just am attached to these certain parts of myself, like the part of myself that's like a procrastinator, or like can't finish a project, or doesn't feel confident in like being able to design something, or being able to like have a successful career. I feel attached to those parts of me, and my things are almost attaching me to those parts of me, and I don't know why. And so then when I looked at it like, do those things serve me now, just exclusively like that? I was able to get rid of a lot of stuff. And then I felt like my brain space and environment cleared up. And I have a problem with like, when I buy something, I don't want to be an overconsumer. Mm-hmm. So I don't like actually shop that much. So I want to keep something. I don't believe in throwing things away. Like you don't
hate getting rid.
You donate it or you keep it. So I like don't want to be a part of the problem, to be like, it's so easy for me to just get rid of perfectly good stuff. Mm-hmm. So I did look past that.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
like donating.
Yeah.
Especially with like the fires in LA and stuff. That not that I was affected by that, thank God. Like, and I feel so bad.
How's your
for
brother's
the
house?
people.
Fine?
His house is fine, thank God. They were worried when they had to evacuate.
that's really
It was
crazy.
Like, Navi was on the phone. We were like on the phone while they were literally evacuating. And I was just like praying because she's pregnant. Like, they have a baby. I was like, they have like a trillion pets. I was like, we can't. They work nonstop. I was like, just don't touch their house, please.
And their hospital's fine too?
Yes, thank God. I think the hospital. Yeah, it is. But yeah, so that made me realize, like, I'm seeing all these people that unfortunately lost everything, and they're saying, like, I'm rebuying my clothes, but I'm only buying the things that, like, I actually like and actually need. And I turned to Mike and I was like, this is, like, making me realize, like, why the F do we have so much stuff? Like, it could all be gone in an instant.
And also take the extra step to donate it, not throw it away.
Yes.
Because somebody else does need that.
Use it.
And I buy a lot of my stuff from Housing Works, like from the thrift store. I'll like buy a pot from there. I mean,
Yeah, I like that. I like a little
I don't
vintage
see why
moment.
not.
My grandfather was so all about that. He would not throw out even a pen. He was like, somebody could use that. And I think it's because he lived through. Did he live through
I'm
the
sure.
Depression? Yeah, they did.
Probably. Mine is because
History.
my mom grew up in a very like tight household, like very low income household. And so her mindset always was like that with us. And I think it just transferred to me.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's how I just saw her be like that. And so then I took that on.
I think, like, for those of you who might be relating out there who are like, oh, it's so hard for me to get rid of stuff. I think just keep in mind, like, get rid of the random stuff. Keep the stuff that makes you feel good, the Marie Kondo of
serves
it
you.
all. And then my
spark
thing,
joy's interesting,
something
though.
I really want to pick back up doing, I used to when I was little, and I don't know where these went. I was such a good scrapbooker. And I really want to,
People are
like,
really into that again.
pick up the art of scrapbooking.
You've got to find, I'll text Emily. There's this girl that does it really cool. It's like journal scrapbooking. So you do it for like each day. Like you journal or special days.
Yeah.
And you save mementos like from that day. So if on your birthday, we went to Pasties, if you saved the coaster from Pasties or the napkin, you would cut
I'm
out
obsessed.
a piece of it and like glue it into the page. And then if we'd, whatever little
That's
pieces
so
from
cute.
that day. And it's really, really cute. And there's a girl that does really cute ones that people use for inspiration. I'll text her. I'll get the name because she's
Yeah, I
been
need to
doing
see
it
a
and she'll
visual.
send me a photo. And it's like I'm envious because it's really, really cool.
Well, and that's the stuff. Like, thank God I have my mom's photo albums because obviously cameras weren't around back then, or phones weren't around back then. But that's the stuff that, like, from time to time, I just love flipping through, like, photos of her when she was young, or like seeing the day she and her friends went on a hike in the mountains. Like,
Yeah.
So that's the stuff, like the journal scrapbook I want to pass down to my kids one day.
That's really cool.
I'm gonna have to journal
I'll find the
scrapbook.
girl.
I'm
I'll
adding
find-
that to the list of 25 things.
Okay, I will definitely find the creator because a lot of girls have been doing this and it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need to, like, also just print out photos more. I don't think I
agree.
ever print photos.
Okay, so do we want to go a quick rundown of this TikTok situation?
Yeah, I feel like everyone out there is probably, like, done hearing about it, but we wanted to talk about it real quick because it is top of mind for everyone, including
Us.
us.
Well, mainly Nikki and I got on the phone last night and obviously we were talking about it because TikTok went away. We knew that. Then CapCut went away and CapCut is almost like that was the one that was like for me because
Yeah, you
that
love
is it is such a resource, especially for the podcast, like to edit. And all of our Reels content edited episodes for me are literally stored on CapCut at this moment. So when I got locked out without any warning, I almost had a heart attack
Lost
because
the podcast.
yeah,
See,
I was
I
like,
use
if I had
Adobe.
known, I would have backed it up, and I
Yeah.
just felt like whatever.
I
I'm
don't
scared.
save everything properly, so it's all a mess. But I'm not even a huge CapCut girly.
You use Photoshop,
Adobe.
Adobe, sorry, yeah, which now I have to start using again, of course.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we got on the phone and we realized,
Thank God we have a podcast.
Thank God we have a podcast.
Even though anything
and
could
we were
happen
talking
to
about whatever our editing software, switching stuff, TikTok, and we realized we have two different perspectives on the TikTok ban. And then we didn't really get into it. We were like, we'll just talk about it tomorrow.
You were like fine with it, and I was like sad.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, it supplements part of my income. So that right there, I was just like, the fuck? I'm fortunate to be in a spot where like I make most of my income on Instagram. So I was like, okay, I'm good. But I like having multiple streams, and I like having it's just, yeah, whatever. But like, I feel really bad for like the small businesses and the creators that are like only TikTok. Like, I know creators that are truly only TikTok, and we're like, what am I supposed to do? I'm quite literally losing my job. So that's that. That was already sad. And just like a TikTok is like I know it's an addiction, and I know it's not healthy for me, but it's like where I laugh and scroll. However, I will say, his name is Hayden Cohen. He's an hilarious influencer on every platform, but Instagram. He was saying, this really resonated with me. He was like, I've never felt so old as I do like with this ban, because all the like youths were coming on Reels and complaining so much about like how Reels suck and they hate them and whatever and this. And I was like, he was like, I don't hate Reels. I kind of laugh and love it on here.
But there's just a difference of content that you're going to get.
I use TikTok so much as my Google. Like, for instance, when you're talking about the journal
you can search
scrapbooking,
but it'll never come up on Reels.
Yeah, like I would go straight to TikTok after this.
I'm sure she puts it on Reels, but you'll never be able to search it there.
It's like just not as, it just doesn't feel as like searchable. So I don't know. That's all that. But all's that to say, I hope it does stay back permanently. They're saying, though, everybody's saying now it's going to change a ton when like Meta or whoever in America buys it.
Yeah, obviously. We were talking about that last night too.
But like,
this is a temporary relief. For whatever reason, like this is a reason that sort of has no justification. For me personally, like I felt at peace about it without rationale. Like it is a portion of my income. It is my largest community. I worked hard for it. Mm-hmm. I love, 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 love my entire community on TikTok.
Yeah,
I feel like we went through it all together. I've never, ever had a space before where I've had girls whose brain, like who my brain and their brains like work the same. So I can just sort of talk stream of consciousness and it makes sense. Like that was a spark of joy for me I'd never had in my life.
Like your stream of consciousness videos that you do on TikTok, I like always am like, I want to do more of those, and then I like don't. But the ones you do would never work on Instagram.
Ever.
They'd get 3 likes.
Exactly. It doesn't, it's not that my content is transferable. It's not. Otherwise, I probably would have started transferring it a while ago.
Yeah.
So
some
really,
of yours is though.
Yeah. Rationally, I should be really upset. And I am upset generally because I think the point of it is stupid. I think it takes away
free speech.
And I think that it is really detrimental for a lot of businesses and creators, myself included. And I'd like to mention, like, I'm not in a household where we can live off of one income. Like, I'm a dual income household. It's not like it's like, well, that was for fun. Like, it's an income that's really, really needed. Yeah. So there was really no reason at all for me to feel at peace about it. So I was just I just don't know why. And I think it's because I'm supposed to be focusing on something else right now. And I think it's because I do best under pressure. So like being forced to take my attention away from TikTok.
Yeah, might be a blessing.
Like would force me to put some of my eggs in a basket that I've perhaps been a little nervous to do so for the past year or so.
We need to unpack why you're nervous to do things that you want to do.
Yeah, I think I should. Didn't I say I was going to try to go to therapy for those things like a few weeks ago?
I don't know, but I feel like
a career therapist.
This is a career. Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
But like, can't you talk about this with your regular therapist too? That's what I thought you would have been talking about. Like, what else do you
I've been talking about family stuff.
Oh, well, maybe it's time to pivot.
I don't know if everybody I've had different therapists at different phases of life. obviously. Like, I think that does happen, especially when you move. Like,
Yeah.
you would get a new therapist. But my therapist that I go to is like really family oriented, and it's the bridge of the like personal stuff that blocks me in my career has never really been
A thing you talk about.
crossed, and I don't know if that's even the right fit for that subject.
That's a good point. Like maybe it is a career coach, period, not a therapist.
I have no doubt. I
That you
know
need.
for sure it's like I definitely have self-esteem, confidence issues, and not feeling like confident enough to do the things that I want to do or carry them out.
I think, and this is a point that we wanted to talk about in our next discussion, that I have. I'm a firm believer in like the reason children and as kids we love nostalgia and we were so creative back in the day is because things weren't complicated yet. Life didn't beat you down. People weren't critiquing your work and the things that you were saying or putting out there like people are now when you become adults. So that's why kids are so creative. And I think like the reason you're scared to do things is because you're fearing what people will say or like think about you.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's easier said than done. I do it all the time. But like you need to just like be like, like I'm dying.
I definitely have that fear. And I definitely think it's also a Virgo thing. But I also think there's a huge part of it that is, I feel like I somewhere developed this idea that I'm never destined to like be the best at anything, like just second or third. Like I'll never be top tier. So, but I have that idea of myself. So then I don't complete projects because I have like predetermined that
you won't be the best. But I think in your mind, you're like, okay, I'm not going to do it because I won't be the best, but you don't have to be the best.
Yeah, those two things definitely go hand in hand. I'm just not sure where and when that happened. I definitely went through my fair share of bullying, like, you know, and I don't know if that's it. I really honestly, and that's where I'm saying like career coach, career therapist, I'm not really sure. I just, any type of therapist that is maybe a good fit for like dissecting those types of things in terms of relating them back to like how I could be a better adult.
Yeah.
And I think it'll help me be better in my career, which will help me provide for my family better, which will then help me be a better parent. Like, I think it could snowball. But I don't know if the therapist I'm seeing right now, because it's so family oriented, is like,
I think
she's more of a talk therapist.
Yeah. You need more of like an action oriented, like, let's stop talking, more doing. And like the family stuff you'll always need. But like we talked about this in the last, like, I almost think like, why don't you go to your therapist and be like, all right, family stuff aside.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about me and my career.
It's the type of therapist she is. Like she's a talk therapist, and there are lots of different types. And then for premarital, we went to like a behavioral therapist. It's specialized in like PTSD, certain childhood behaviors. Mm-hmm. She favorite person of all time, but she won't do out of state. Like ideally, I do actually have two people that I'm like, I would go to them for different things. So I just need to replicate the second person that I can't see virtually.
Yeah.
Here, I guess. And I've just never had the courage to go out and like do the work to find her again because it took me so long to find her the first time.
Or maybe you need like, not even a therapist, but so like for me, for instance, I need a therapist to talk about mental health. Period. Yeah. Like that's what I need first and foremost. Yeah. And I want to talk family. I want to talk career. I want to talk anxiety. Yeah. I want to talk about my crazy and random intrusive thoughts I always get.
Oh yeah.
Things like that. And I want to get coping mechanisms for that. And I think she will help me with stuff that will help me in my career. Like for instance, I'm a big like procrastinator, like you said. But when I do actually sit down and finally start doing and writing things down and working, then I'm able to focus like a mad woman.
Yeah.
But until then,
I believe that's like the ADD in us, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the same way. But until then, I will just talk and yap. So I need somebody that I think will help me in that, and helping with my mental health issues and stuff like that will also help with snowball into my career. But then I hear what you're saying. Like, I feel like we could all benefit from somebody solely focused on career. But I think also, instead of maybe like a career life coach or / therapist person, a good mentor, which I've like lost along the way.
That is okay. So sorry, for context, John and I were having a conversation where he was like, "Do you have a mentor?" And I said that's such a crazy question because like we come from corporate worlds where you have managers and mentors, or you get like paired with somebody. Like I never did, but everybody else I know did. Like they got paired with somebody who like you met with quarterly or whatever, like someone else who worked at the company. So I was saying I have people that I look up to, but in leaving and doing something on my own and not having a degree in what I, wanted to do, whether it was media, fashion, marketing, whatever, like I basically signed up for something that is not a set path, which means when I latch myself to like a quote unquote mentor, I begin also like comparison with said path of that person, and mine will never match that. And they also, no one will really technically have the capability to guide me through my path, because when you choose to do that, like they'll all have to look differently. And I think that that's where people that are entrepreneurs in different spaces that don't have a manager and a mentor, or like someone that has gone before them for guidance, do benefit from that like career guidance therapist, the psychological part of it that helps guide them through like, here's a problem, here's how you're going to think through the solution and get the confidence to act on said solution, or to finish out the project, or find the person that's going to help you finish the project. Because most people who like work corporately have that accessibility. Yeah. And I didn't really put my finger on it that losing that was part of the problem. And then I couldn't really replicate it because I chose something that doesn't have a set path. Yeah. Therefore, mentor / management isn't something that could be directly beneficial to my specific case. Yeah. So then it almost, the therapist is technically serving as said mentor.
Just me. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I really think you and many people probably listening that are struggling with the same thing, myself included, I'm not like above, but could benefit from, I mean, both. You just have to get over the career coach I'm saying, or the, a good mentor or handful of mentors. You just have to like get over the whole like comparing yourself to their path, because even in a normal corporate job, when you have a manager person or just a mentor person who you're going to follow their exact step, like you're going to be promoted eventually to VP and then EVP, whatever comes after. Yeah, your path still could look different than theirs. It's not like it's exactly the same in every work environment. So like your path is never going to be the exact same of somebody else because it's your path. Yeah. But also just like, I was thinking about this morning because I have this like manifestation journal that I've become like, when I have time in the mornings these days sometimes, I have like 17 different journals that I'm writing in like one by one. Mike's like, are you like a scribe? And so I was writing in the manifestation one this morning, and it was like, who's somebody in your circle that like inspires you, blah, blah, blah. I was thinking about it, and I was like, I have a lot of people. Like I try to only surround myself with good energy. And then I was like, oh, like honestly, my friend Christina, because she's a mom thriving at that. She doesn't like, she's vulnerable and honest at it. But yeah. And then she's also like a self-employed person. She has her own PR agency. She's like our age. And I was like, I should go to her for being like self-employed more, even though she's not an influencer. She's not in the exact same thing. She can almost be a little mini mentor to me. So I don't know. I think it's also having like mentors that maybe they don't have to be in the same exact path or field as you,
but just can help you,
or just have aspects. And there's like your friend psychological Jenna, help. We had on,
like Jenna definitely mentors me, but then the psychological stuff, perhaps she can't help like guide me through, or
so the career coach person would help with that.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys updated. It's an interesting thing. I really also, it's not something that I could like afford to just do weekly, but I have realized that I think that I'm on John's insurance. Like, thank God. I think he has. I encourage everybody to look at their insurance because most of your benefits include therapy like already paid for only by a certain platform though.
Yeah.
Which I'm just
Mike's is kind of by a certain platform, and I like tried to use it, and then I forget why I didn't.
Yeah, and also we are partnering with Rula, RULA, which is 15. It's like covered by most insurances, apparently, and it matches you with a provider like in your network. But it says that most patients pay $15 a session on average.
What?
After insurance, which is like, I don't know if I've been doing it all wrong, but that's not a price I've heard.
Oh, I need to.
So like making it accessible is the number one blocker. But if I were to make it accessible, I'll keep you updated.
Therapists be quoting $150 per week.
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's not attainable.
I'm like, oh. Well, the ones I've been talking to are like 22, and I'm like, I'm not paying for a 22-year-old to talk to me each week.
Oh, and I agree with that. I know that I sort of was like, maybe they would be able to help, and then I was recently looking, and I was like, no, she was right.
She's right, per usual.
Okay, on this note though of just like goals, we talked about creativity. Sidebarred into it last episode, and a lot of us, I guess, were on the same page. It felt like a niche discussion, and then a lot of people were like, yeah, feeling the same exact way.
Yeah. And I think that's because like not everybody is in an artistic career, a creative per se career, but like you need creativity in your life. I don't care if you're an accountant. I don't care if you're in sales. I don't care if you're in a quote non-traditionally creative job. You still want to infuse creativity.
I agree.
Creativity creates endorphins, and people with endorphins don't kill their husbands.
Was thinking more about it. I was like, why are we all feeling this? What did you say? Yeah. Endorphins make you have sex with your husband? Is that what you said?
Don't kill their husbands.
Don't kill their husbands.
What's that from? Except I butchered the quote.
Are you moving a quote? Oh, you're doing a movie quote? It's not actually
the quote.
You're doing a movie quote.
Happy people just don't kill their husbands.
Wait, I have seen that movie.
How do you not? Oh my God.
I don't know. You're so good at movie quotes, and I don't know.
Endorphins
so
make
good
you
at
happy.
them.
And happy people just don't kill their husbands.
Legally Blonde?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. It's the way you said it.
I know.
Yeah, it was the way you said it that helps me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was thinking about this, like, why are we all feeling this at the same time? And then I was thinking that I think unless you were someone that got married in 2024, because that's something that does force you to keep in touch with your creativity, planning a wedding, naturally, like, even if you're really hands-off, you're going to be doing something creative. And most of us are pretty hands-on. 2024 was like, even good year or bad year, doesn't matter. It was a survival year. A lot went down. A lot was happening. Like, it just was more of a survival year. Like, I think we were all focused on, like, people were moving and thinking about starting families and switching jobs. And it just was a survival year in terms of life. And I think we all sort of, like, put hobbies, creative stuff on the back burner. Like, we didn't really have time to focus on that stuff.
Like us, yes. But a lot of people had like good 2024s.
Oh, I'm saying even if you had a good one, like your career could have done really well in 2024. But I think it was a really focused year. I don't know if it was like
in general?
Yeah.
For the world?
I'm kind of getting the vibe. Could be wrong.
I don't know what you're saying.
I think that people that got married in 2024 were forced to be creative in 2024.
Okay.
But like being creative is a luxury.
True. I see what you're saying. Like somebody who's like grinding, just trying to get by and like doesn't have the brain space to be creative. Yes, that is true. And
you might have grinded in 2024 and been really successful at it, but you were still grinding.
Yeah.
Like
I'll always be grinding.
Right, but it was a work hard year.
Yeah.
And a year where a lot of stuff was like politically, economically, lots of the pieces of puzzles, whatever. I can't speak today. Whatever.
You're not making a lot of sense, but move on.
Sorry. Okay.
No, but I agree. So I think a lot of people do struggle with this. It is a luxury. I love that point. But we came up with our ideas for just getting more in touch with your creativity.
And also, we always say to you guys, because we know we're not moms, that if we ever say anything about how we assume that a parent might feel, we love to be fact checked on it. And we did say that we felt like being a mom is this how you feel when you're a mom? Like that you actually lost the brain space designated to creativity. Like it was taken up and there was no space left. And we did get a DM that said, just listen to the 2025 episode, first time mom to a 9-month-old, wanted to share my experience from the other side. So sorry. I have to delete this part because I copied and pasted the wrong DM. Anyways.
She was affirming that she felt like it.
Yeah. Anyways, we got a DM from a mom that affirmed that is exactly like how you feel.
And then I saw a stat yesterday on the internet somewhere that was like when you become a mom, your brain physically shrinks a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I think it goes back to normal like later after like a year of postpartum or whatever.
Right.
Don't quote me on that. But like that makes, I mean, okay, so on top of like the brain apparently shrinking already. And then, yeah, like your space is taken up by just like keeping your child happy and alive. I could imagine that it does make it a lot harder to have that free brain space for creativity.
Or goals
But then
went away.
again, like I don't want to sit here and be like, you can't be creative when you're a mother because then you see mothers thriving.
I think the point of we actually got 2 DMs and one was saying that she was a new-time mom and the one I was just trying to read, that she felt like it ignited a new part of her. And she was so scared that she had to get to a certain place in her career before she got pregnant because it would become stagnant and she would lose that brain capacity and it would become harder for her to push her career or she would start to care less about it. But that having a baby like ignited a new part of her that has like driven her to do more and fulfill herself more like creatively.
Yeah.
I think that there's that side of it and it's not the first time that I've heard that. And then I think there's the side of the first message that was like, can attest to the fact that you do feel like that part of your brain just magically disappears because it's being filled up by other stuff. And that mom did something creative for a living. And she did say that she also attested it to like creative being work, like work and creativity going hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And so she could only see work as work and like could not have fun with it anymore. Like she didn't have the luxury to like, have fun with like being creative with work, or she was a hairstylist. And she had to like work to get that part of her back, like enjoying the creativity of her job because she felt like it was perhaps, and now I'm putting words in her mouth, but
Yeah. What did this? No, but that's why I feel like they say for people that are in creative jobs, like if you're an influencer, which is technically a creative job, it's important to, which I need to do, find like other hobbies outside of literally work, like a hobby that you don't even plan on filming or monetizing or doing whatever. That's
something
a creative hobby.
Yeah.
So that you can still enjoy being creative.
That's a tale as old as time too. It's like,
which I don't do, but that is important for anybody in a creative job.
It's like your hobby is no longer a hobby once your income depends on it.
Yes.
Which is contradictory to when like old men say, if you do what you love, you won't work a day in your life.
Yeah, no. I think some of the
like,
people who are
nice,
like truly happiest are people in just like boring careers that like love their hobbies and their family life
know
and
how to
their
separate
time outside of work.
I agree. Work-life balance.
But I will say like that's one of my tips for getting back to being creative is just like sitting down to actually have like a brainstorming session with yourself. Because that's what I realized. I was like, I did think of good ideas and stuff when I was in my brainstorming sessions, like with my coworkers and stuff when I was in my job.
Yeah, you guys used to do a lot of those, but you would go somewhere fun. I think that's an important part of it. You guys would go to like a restaurant and get drinks.
We did that like a couple times.
But that's fun because you're outside of it. And I think that was another tip, like to get outside of your normal environment.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I think just like having designated like, okay, now I am going to use my brain solely for creativity time, like put your phone away.
Yeah.
Writing, I like honestly can't do anything if I'm not like writing it down. Like that just helps. Like
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm a big writer.
Yeah, I can't just like talk.
I love a visual.
Yeah.
And writing is that.
Another tip, I know we said this on the last episode, but that book read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I have it. I'm on like page 3. But there's a reason everyone's saying it works so well. So like if you're feeling that, order it on Amazon.
My dear friend Maggie Villamaria, who makes like the most beautiful art and jewelry, you must have met her. If you look her up on Instagram, she's like the epitome of like a beam. She probably is someone who's do what you love and never work a day in your life. Except I do know for a fact that she runs her own business. So like any job, there's stuff that she has to do that she probably does not want to do. Hiring people, budgeting, whatever it is. But it's always rewarding for her, and she's a truly happy person, and she's someone who swears by the artist's way. And I really? I view that as a stamp of gold because she's really like an inspiration for creativity.
You need to order it.
Yeah. So we did. Like we looked up resources to see if we could help us and everybody else try to get our creativity back this year because it just makes us clearer on our goals too. Like anything. What do you want your house to look like? Got to get in touch with your vision. Like, what do you want for your career? Got to get in touch with your vision. What makes you tick? What are your hobbies do you like? Got to get in touch. I did read something on a Reddit page that said separate time between creativity and labor, which is a nice point if it's your job. So that's exactly what you said about find something that you don't get paid for and do that. Apparently, there's a series of TED Talks on the creative spark.
I need a good TED Talk. I forgot about them.
And right above that tip was to read a cool interview of someone inspiring. And I was thinking, I was like, yeah, when I hear somebody speak or see somebody do something or even watch a movie of like a woman like who's hitting the New York,
about it.
You know that feeling of being in the movie theater and like the girl hits the New York pavement and then she like makes something big of herself and you leave and you're so motivated. I was like, yeah, it actually does reignite that part of you.
That's a good point. Like I feel like there are podcasts out there, so many that are just purely like entertainment and things like that, and just content in general that's like make you laugh, entertainment. But don't forget to like listen and consume that type of content, but also don't forget to consume inspirational content. Like seek out those TED Talks or those inspiring articles or interviews or a YouTube interview with a public figure that will inspire you. We're going to link some.
Yeah, no, I can link. They were all in the article that I found. So I'll link them all on the Instagram page. At first I was like, what an interesting tip. And then I was like, yeah, that actually works.
Yeah. I used to be so good at consuming content like that early on when in my 20s. I was a like sucker for motivational
There's just
stuff.
nothing like that feeling of that is the spark that we were talking about, like that
motivation.
And then you go seek out what it is you want.
I'm going to start finding it and just like spamming you with stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
And do it to me too.
I saw one that is interesting. Some of these are, pretty obvious. This one was interesting and it took some thought for me to make the dots connect, but it said take away instant gratification. And the more I thought about it, the more I agreed. Creativity is not instant gratification, but we live in a world where we crave instant gratification. So anything creative, think of anything creative that you like to do. It is not something that can be done in under 5 minutes.
True.
It is something that takes time. And you will not see the reward of it until you're done doing it. Like
so true.
Not even like that day usually.
Yeah.
Like DIY project, forget about it. Like you'll see the fruits of your labor that will take up a lot of your labor in like weeks or whatever it is.
Or even like my little quick attention span, like when you were saying that, I was thinking like I used to love baking and I don't do it anymore as much as I should, but like from scratch baking. But like if you're making a good, let's say cupcakes, for example, it still takes time. For me, that still takes time. A couple hours is time. Like, but yeah.
So when we write our list, I just really thought about this. I was like, wow, I really do this. If I write down my list for the day, I do the things that I can do the fastest because I want to see as many check marks on my page as possible. And then when I tackle the thing that takes the longest and I get to the end of the day and I only checked off 2 things, but maybe each thing took half a day, I'm like, wow, disappointing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we need to rewire new neural pathways in our brains.
So we just crave the tasks that can be done and marked off. And I guess inherently those are not creative tasks. So the advice I read was like, because for a lot of us, most of the tasks that we're doing are not like, we didn't come up with them. Like, there are things that just have to be done, especially if you're a parent or a homeowner or whatever. So the advice I read was like to spend a Saturday where you were like not allowed to complete anything that was an instant gratification task.
Love that.
And just see where your brain goes. Like, I will see something that's a long project, but my brain will go to something that is a faster project. Just so I can see it get done.
Or I would say to that too, like, even on a daily frequency, limit yourself to only like 2 or 3 of those more instant tasks so that you still get your like addicted dopamine hit from the instant.
Good tip.
But instead of doing like 17 and then work on it later.
What if we separated our to-do list to short tasks, long tasks? And then you could only do a certain number from your short tasks.
People say get the short ones over quickly.
Right.
And then
But I think that's the problem. And that's what gives us the instant gratification, because we've become accustomed to doing all of those, knocking stuff out, and then that's what makes us feel productive.
I also think it's very like whatever works for you.
I agree. But I think that one might work for me. Because I'll sit there and be like, wow, I just knocked out 10 things in an hour. What can I do next?
Yeah. Okay. Next tip. I have a
Do you have one? Yeah.
We kind of talked about this, the consuming of content. Consume the right content, but also like quiet time. I hate quiet time. I hate sitting alone with my thoughts, but that truly is when I think of the best ideas, whenever the few moments when I do sit in silence. So like, stop consuming so much stuff out there. We're always consuming content. Put your phone down, put your screens down, and allow yourself to truly, I know it sounds cheesy and this is the oldest trick in the book, but like somehow experience nature. I don't care if that's going for a walk, if that's walking through a park, if that's a hike, touch grass, meditate. We talked about this on the Kate episode too. Everybody's obsessed with meditation. We all need to be doing it. Even if it's for, like Kate was saying, she's a mom of 2 kids. She's busy. Hers is like
in the morning,
2 minutes a day, and it still helps so much.
Her morning routine was really cool.
Yeah, you don't have to be like a hour meditator and like put on robes and do it on a pillow. You can just like sit in silence. You don't even have to have like mechanisms to do it with. Just sit. And then I also wrote down in caps museum, because like, I don't know, there's museums everywhere, especially New York City for those of you local. And we don't, I like don't visit museums like I should.
Yeah.
And just surrounding yourself with art and other people's art, especially when it's different than yours. Like, I'm not going to go become Picasso anytime soon. And that's not what I want to get out of a museum. But I don't know, just being surrounded by like visual, physical art, I feel like can help.
I agree. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that
Mine
one.
are like
I agree with
those
the
tricks.
Because I think it sparks, again, it's all about reattaching yourself to your goal.
Yes.
Everybody has a creative goal. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, you could be an accountant that dreams numbers for fun. You still have a creative goal. Like,
yeah.
Everybody has one, and we always had it growing up, and we honestly had it probably throughout young adulthood, and it gives us like passion and drive, and it does realign you with what you want to get out of this life.
I did write down a very inspiring quote that I liked by this is a sermon. This quote by Maya Angelou. She said, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use it, the more you have," which I love, because I'm always like, oh, if I like work on this too much, or if I do too much of this, I'm going to like burn myself out, and I can't. Like, the more you use your creativity, the more you will produce. You can be a little artiste if you want.
I'll add to that and say, I do think that there are a lot of things where you do get tired of doing something. Like, you could get tired of working on a home project or a DIY project or whatever. something interesting that I found is that there is a right type of creativity for each person, and that you never get tired of. Like, there is something for everybody that you could literally do it every day for the rest of your life, and you would never get sick of it. And then there are other types of creativity that doesn't apply to. But I really feel strongly that everybody has something where if you did it every single day, you would continue to get like fueled off of it. And so that is the goal, to find that.
Yeah.
I always loved sketching and designing dresses, and I always thought I wanted to be a designer. The first time I did my Amazon collection, I looked at John and I said, I could do this every day for the rest of my life and I would never get tired of it.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, he asked me if I felt like overwhelmed or like oversaturated with it, that being my like every day. And I said, I've never been more fulfilled.
Yeah.
Every day I could do this.
I feel like I could sense your passion through that. I
could do it every day. And there's only one other thing that I've ever felt like that with. And it was when I was on CBS Mornings.
Yeah, you were very jazzed up about that as well.
It was like the whole like process. Yeah, I mean, I was fine to wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm not an early riser, as we all know. Yeah. Like, I could do that, but it is that one's way, way, way more niche. But, like,
your adrenaline
I can't do
pumping.
That. Right. But I also can't do that just, like, on my own, on my couch. I could sketch on my couch.
But, like, you could have a goal of, like, having a segment one day.
Yeah, that's a goal for sure. But I could sketch a dress on my couch a day and never, ever get tired of it.
See, that is so true, because I don't even
You might be like, this is annoying. Can I do something else now?
Like, I want to just, like, try to sketch.
But you like to paint, like, there's...
That's so funny to me sketching a dress. Like, I'm going to pick up a pencil and try it one day and send you a photo. But it's funny because, like, when I really am decent at, like, art. Like, I draw. Like, when I focus, I can draw. It's funny because, like, Ruby got so into art, like, last year and was sending us, like, photos of her paintings and drawings. And she was so good at it. And we were like, Ruby, where the hell was this all of college? Yeah. And they were, like, good. And but I think truly, like, anyone could be really decent if they just focus.
I agree.
But no, that's so true about, like, the thing that makes you feel, like, creatively fulfilled and jazzed you could do every day and not get sick
That's where I think that quote really, really applies.
Yeah.
Like, try different stuff. If you get tired of it, it might not be your for life creative outlet.
Yeah.
I just feel like there is one for everybody.
Can I actually tell you, this leads into the Mike and I, we'll do this on next episode because we don't have time, but we're starting your date night theory. We're going to do every other week. We each plan a date night for each other, like a little surprise that's, like, more fun than just dinner. And this week, well, it was supposed to be next week, and we didn't communicate. This was before a family meeting. He's traveling for work Tuesday to fucking Thursday next week. So anyways, I have to move it to tomorrow instead. So I'm, like, trying to see if I can move our tickets. But I got tickets to the art cafe Happy Medium in the city, and it's for their, like, figure drawing night.
Do you know if it's a nude model yet?
I thought about that, and I don't think it is, because I don't think it's that, like, official, and there's really no, like, info, or I just, like, didn't read it. It's just, all I know is figure drawing. I don't know who. I don't know what figure. I don't know if we're drawing each other. I don't know what.
Figure usually means, I took figure drawing in college. I told you this story. Right? Yeah, like, I took it as a course, as an interim course, because my college didn't really offer that many art classes.
Like, just figure drawing?
Yeah, I was in Spartanburg, South Carolina. No, figure drawing, just figure drawing. Like, I wanted to, the baseline of all art is that there's no such thing as a straight line, so you have to learn how to draw the human body.
So I guess
figure
we're
drawing.
That.
Okay, first day I go in, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Like, how many nude models for hire do you think there are?
Like, none.
Like 86-year-old.
So you knew the figure?
No. 86-year-old man.
No.
Just in there. I'm 19. I am literally 19. And he's just standing. I walk in. We all walk in, and he's already naked, standing in the middle of the room. Nowhere in the course did it say nude. Like, I'm thinking this is like it's a liberal arts, but, like, a religiously affiliated school. Like, I was like, there's no way they're signing off on nude. like 3 girls in the class raised their hands and were like, for religious reasons, I'm going to have to drop out of the class.
Oh my God, no, that makes me feel so bad for the nude model.
Yeah. Well, they were like, I'm Catholic. I can't.
Oh my God.
And I think that's really what they said. And I was like,
that's so funny.
I was like, I've never been more in the South than in this moment.
Yeah, like I can't.
I was like, I'll just move past this. But
I would have been so, like at 19, I would have definitely been so immature and like giggled to myself, not in front of him.
yeah, the giggling for sure.
The empath in me could never like laugh in front of a man. But I would have been like, oh my God, a nude model.
Yeah, but also I'm sure there was a guy from a neighboring college that did it on one occasion for us. And I was like, you've got to come in thinking someone might know me.
It's kind of giving, remember that scene in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2 when Lena paints the hot.
It's literally giving that.
What's his name in real life? Jesse something?
I don't know.
The hot actor. And they like end up dating. Oh my God.
That is, what a good movie. Oh my God, what a good movie. Anyways. Best. I hope you have the best time ever. That's a fantastic idea. How'd you come up with it?
I hope that it's nude. Well, I was crying laughing because Mike is so like not artistic of a man, but like low key, watch him be so good. He's always, everyone on my Instagram videos is like, Mike is the best actor ever. Like your skills suck, his rock. He needs to do, I'm like, Mike, you need to sign up for acting classes. And he like laughs in my face.
He is a good actor.
No, he's like very good he'd be good for film because he shows like no emotion and you're supposed to show no emotion in film. Well, that's a lot. You're supposed to show some.
That's so interesting.
Minimal. But I was just
like
laughing.
Theater?
Yeah, like theater is like
overly
emotion.
Expressive?
Yeah,
okay.
So in my acting classes, I used to always get critique because the guy was like, you should be in theater. And I was like, but film. But so yeah, I just was laughing and I was like, I really want to push him out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
I cannot. I mean, you'll give us an entire debrief, right?
Yes.
I can't wait to hear about this.
I wanted to do it with you instead.
Oh, well, if you like it.
Yeah, we'll go back.
Can we go back?
Because they have all different categories. Like there's a pottery one.
Yeah.
And it's cool that your ticket, I think it includes like one drink. I don't know. I'll give you my review if it really is cool. And they weren't even that expensive. It was like $25 a ticket or something. Which in New York is nothing.
Wow. Well, if you love it, I would love to go back with you.
Yeah.
And I just hope you guys have a really good time.
I think it's in the East Village.
That is going to be really, really, really fun. I can't wait for the debrief.
Yeah.
And next week, you'll have to give us all of the date night ideas that people submitted for you. Because didn't you get like a bunch of good
A ton.
ones?
People got real into that. The one big one when I was scanning through that I'll leave you with now was everybody was saying, what was it called? It was basically a rec room. A rec? And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, I don't know if they have those here. Like, is that like an Austin thing?
No, I think they have them here too. Let me see.
Like, you like play pickleball? Like you play stuff?
No. Oh, sorry. I'm butchering it. No, it's, oh my God. Somebody sent me a photo of, I didn't even know you could do that in the question box. A photo of a whole poster board. People got real into this. No, where is it? Not axe throwing. Hot pepper. Rage room. So you go in and they have all this stuff like old TVs, old technology. Like
didn't they do that on The Bachelor once?
Yes.
Okay.
And you each get a bat and you just destroy things. It's kind of terrifying. A lot of people suggested
honestly,
that.
after like IVF and everything, it probably might be fun.
Honestly, my hormones like
get it out. Get it out.
Oh, we didn't even talk about your hormonal things coming
We'll
up.
talk about it next week. Okay, I know we have to go.
Segment. Honey, we're hormonal.
Honey, we're hormonal.
All we do is talk about hormones.
Oh, you guys gave us really, really good input on the show for this year, and we're taking every last thing into consideration down to today's episode. So, like, honestly, thank you so much, because what would we be without you not here? But next week, we have the craziest.
Oh, the voicemail.
We have the craziest story. Well, I say that like to hype you up. I feel like it might be more of a common thing than we know, but we have a voicemail. We're going to play it for you now. If you want to participate, if you have any advice for this girl, please let us know. I'm just going to rip it and play it for you. This is going to be next week's episode. So I really hope that we see you back here then.
Hi, Caroline and Nikki. I really need your help. Long story short, I was invited to go on a bachelorette of one of my good friends to Mexico next October. It's going to be about $2,500 a person, so please keep that in mind. The issue is a former friend of mine who is still friends with the bride. I'm not sure how the bride is still friends with her, will be on the trip. This girl and I have not spoken in over a year. To sum it up, she was also engaged. I helped plan her engagement. We will call her M. M went home to try on wedding dresses, and the day before she went and bought her wedding dress, she went out with friends and slept with her childhood best friend's boyfriend while her childhood best friend was asleep in the next room. Childhood best friend walks in and sees it. Well, fast forward. M's wedding is still on. She ends up having a 6-month affair with her boss, which I know about. So I tell her, like, I can't support this. I can't support your marriage. This is wrong. We stop being friends. The newest of news is that M is sleeping with the man that was supposed to be the best man in her wedding, whom is also married. So now they are getting a divorce. I can't be around this person. We don't get along. There's only 4 people going on this trip. And I think that the tension will ruin the trip, but the bride thinks we'll like drink tequila and make up when I think we're going to drink tequila and get into a fight in a foreign country. Am I really going to spend almost $3,000 to go on a trip with someone that I absolutely hate and morally cannot be around?
Guys,
I was vlogging during that. I'm going to be a vlogger.
that is quite a story. We almost did this episode on that, and then we realized that this might better be taken to the group. If you have any tips for her, we'll submit it on. But go to our page to submit. Like real advice only. Real advice only. This will be next week's episode, so hope to see you there. Also, give us a follow on Instagram.
Please do.
Yeah, like actually, this time we're actually asking. Please subscribe if you're listening. Please follow us on Instagram and each of us individually. And we love you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Love ya.
Bye.